My Lords, I begin by expressing on behalf of these benches our concern for Her Majesty and the assurance of our thoughts and prayers for her and the royal family. My Lords, I am grateful to the noble Baroness for securing this debate, and I want to pay tribute for the way she has stood up for the young people of the North East throughout her distinguished career. I declare my interest as Chair of the National Society and of Durham Diocesan Board of Finance. I want to begin by celebrating the success of our young people and their teachers, particularly those of the North East, in their recent A-level and GCSE examination results in both schools and further education colleges. However, we cannot hide away from the gap between the north and the south of England, and the stats have already been quoted, so I'm not going to repeat them. The most recent figures, though, continue to show that disadvantaged communities in the north continue to be hit hardest by the COVID pandemic and its impact on learning. Poverty is in every North East postcode and is set to worsen. Headlines include, for example, 2020-21, the North East overtook London to have the highest rate of child poverty in the UK at 38%. And too many of our communities are named in the top 20. Although the latest UK-wide figures show child poverty rates overall dropped slightly in the first year of the pandemic due to the temporary £20 uplift to universal credit, detailed breakdown shows child poverty continued to rise in areas like Sunderland, Newcastle and Middlesbrough. Whilst there have been efforts by the government such as the National Tutoring Programme, in March 2021 it had only reached just over 58% of the target schools in the North East, compared with the 100% and the 96.1% quoted earlier by the noble Baroness. As the Northern Powerhouse Partnership and Schools North East have pointed out, the lack of pre-existing infrastructure and the challenges around recruitment have exacerbated this problem. It's important to acknowledge that since the inclusion of school-led tutoring, which was, if I remember rightly, barred in the first instance, this has improved. This suggests, certainly, that the schools themselves are not at fault. How might this be further rolled out and secured? The government's welcome package of spending is being invested in all of our schools. However, this will not have the desired impact while schools are left to fund a deserved pay award and the increased costs of simply heating a school. This money will, in some cases, allow schools to stand still, but others will fall further behind. And strong multi-academy trusts will be unable to have the desired impact they are expected to achieve in the education investment areas if all of the funding is required to keep open the doors of its existing schools. Indeed, I had a conversation this week which predicted that although it's not legally allowed, there won't be a single multi-academy trust in the North East that won't be able to set anything other than a deficit budget in the coming year. The question of adequate funding also of further education also arises here. Further education often helps people who haven't done well at school to do better in their GCSEs and A-levels and other studies when they go into further education. What is it about that that might be learnt that might help schools? The government's Levelling Up White Paper set a target of increasing the percentage of children from the worst performing areas meeting the expected standard in reading, writing and maths by over a third by 2030. This will only be achieved if there is a focus not only on education, but also on children's health and the adequacy of the housing in which they live and the capacity to access online support through good broadband and so forth. We need a fully thought through resourced recovery plan that is bespoke for the North, tackling the real issues of disadvantage, lack of resource and teacher recruitment and retention. I asked the Minister how will Her Majesty's Government look again at the issues facing the North East region and work collaboratively with local leaders to find long-lasting solutions that are fully funded and grounded in research-led initiatives that work. The schools and the colleges themselves have demonstrated they are not the problem, but they certainly must be part of the solution.